surely I put the AL MVP favorite in my top 50, right? 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 Welcome to the Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva, and on today's episode, we are now officially not only halfway through 2025, but we are more than halfway through the baseball season, and I think it'd be fun to, do first half awards, see who's good, see who should compare it to my preseason predictions. I can tell you right now, some of them are going to be rough. But before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the Run the Play Network. Anthony's Thunder are NBA champions. My Dodgers are World Series champions. Phil's Lakers got Luka Doncic. Subscribing to this channel brings success to your teams. Or you can not subscribe, but I wouldn't risk it. Now, we start with one of the categories I actually got right somehow, and that's AL Rookie of the Year. I'm only going to do 3 names for this one, the 3 finalists I would have if the season ended today. Now, I got to be real careful with this first name, and it's Nick Kurtz. Not going to say that name after that. But he's my third place finisher. On the year, he's hitting .256 with 12 home runs, 32 RBIs, 317 on base, 518 slugging, good for an 835 OPS, 125 WRC plus, and -3 outs above average. Outs above average for me don't weigh that heavily when you're talking about Kurtz, just simply because he plays first base. And that's not really his job. He is a power-hitting first baseman through and through. And if you look at it, that's exactly what he's doing. Not a lot has gone right for Sacramento. I hate to have to say Sacramento. Nothing has gone right for the Athletics, let's say, this year. Lawrence Butler is still very good. Kurtz has been very good. We will talk about their shortstop in a second, but the pitching staff has been bad. Overall, Kurtz has been a nice surprise for this Athletics team and really one of the pillars they want to build around in the future. At number 2, they can't get getting away with this, I swear to God. You trade Kyle Tucker for Isaac Paredes and Cam Smith. Surely the dynasty is dead. No, because Cam Smith is actually really good, and he's second place in my Rookie of the Year voting. On the year, he's hitting .267 with 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, a .350 on base, 427 slugging, 827 OPS, good for a 127 WRC plus, and putting up 4 outs above average. The big thing was, how is Houston's outfield going to perform? Jose Altuve in left has been an unmitigated disaster, quite frankly. He's not hitting well, he's not fielding well either. But Cam Smith has been a revelation for this team. The bat has been really, really solid, really dependable. But the fact that he's putting up, he has better defense than Kyle Tucker right now, quite frankly. He's putting up better defensive numbers than Kyle Tucker in right, while not providing the offensive value, but enough offensive value to you're not really missing him when you combine it with Paredes. How do they do that? How do they keep getting away with it, man? Cam Smith, they had so much confidence in him that he broke the opening day camp and made the roster. Every bit worth it. Cam Smith is clear number 2, but no one's catching number 1. It is very clear who it is, and ironically enough, it was my preseason prediction, Jacob Wilson of the Sacramento Athletics. Gotta stop saying Oakland. Of the Sacramento Athletics, Jacob Wilson, their shortstop. On the year, he's hitting .338, 9 home runs with a 380 on base, 471 slugging, good for an 851 OPS, 138 WRC plus, and -3 outs above average on short. Yeah, if you were going to ding him for something, there are you can ding him for a few things. But, the defense at short is not great. Yeah, he swings freely. He does not take his walks. But the way I describe Jacob Wilson is I call him the plutonic ideal of Luis Arias, just simply because, Wilson, he makes contact all the time. He very rarely swings and misses. But when he does make contact, he's got a little bit of pop in the bat. He doesn't have Kurtz level pops or, like Aaron Judge or Cal Raleigh pop. Heaven forbid that. But, 9 home runs is very solid. A 20 home run season is not out of the range of possibilities while hitting .338. That is a fantastic shortstop season. Decent base runner, too. Very clearly, it is Jacob Wilson. He was quietly entered the top 10 shortstops in baseball conversation, which is crazy because this is the golden era shortstop from Seager to Lindor to Henderson to Witt. Every shortstop we produce is gold. And for Wilson to enter the top 10 as a rookie shows you what kind of special season he is. And if I was going to say who wins the award at the end of the year, very clearly it is going to be Jacob Wilson. I don't see any doubts in that. I don't see who would catch him, quite frankly, especially if he wins the batting title like he's on pace to do right now. Lord help you. But before we hear about NL Rookie of the Year, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Baseball's in full swing this summer, and if you're someone who knows ball, you need to check out Boom Fantasy. You could cash out if you predict things like hits, strikeouts, and RBIs. Boom's the only platform you could cash out 500 times your money on just a two-leg parlay. If baseball isn't your thing, the WNBA is also in full swing this season, and there's a lot of superstars making their names for themselves. I've been loving cashing out on Angel Reese overs because everyone's just hating on her. If you never heard of this platform before, or if you don't know betting's for you, use code RTP for a risk-free bet up to $100. That's code RTP, and it's the best way to support this show. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah, NL Rookie of the Year is one of those categories I'm not really looking forward to talking about the most, simply because, I biffed it. I biffed it bad. My top three was Bubba Chandler, Matt Shaw, and Roki Sasaki. Yeah, that's not good, brother. Kind of fucked up on that one. But for the actual top three, at number 3, I have Agustin Ramirez of the Miami Marlins. He's put together quietly a very solid rookie season, as he's hitting .255 on the year with a .305 on base, .485 slugging, good for a .790 OPS and a .114 WRC+. However, he does have minus fielding runs, 5 fielding runs at catcher. One of the premium defensive positions in baseball. But that does not detract from the fact that he's having a very solid offensive rookie season. It was between him and Hai-Sung Kim. But he's just putting up more volume. While, the rate's not there, it's good volume at a premium position for a team that, quite frankly, needs something. It's really Kyle Stowers, Ramirez, and dudes on the Marlins. So for him to put up these kind of numbers, you will gladly take that. If you're Miami, the Marlins for sure got a good one with Ramirez. At number 2, this might be my hottest take of the year. And again, I'm not saying he's going to finish in the top 3. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just voting on the first half performance. Give me Dodgers star, Dodgers legend, Ben Kasparius here. As on the year, man, he's appeared in 25 games, thrown 56 and 2/3 innings with a .397 ERA, good for a 100 ERA plus. But Joseph, he's got a 100 ERA plus. How can he be a top 2 Rookie of the Year finisher? Let me get there, okay? A 1.13 whip, 54 strikeouts, good for 8.6 strikeouts per 9, 1.9 walks per 9, 0.6 home runs per 9, and a 2.73 FIP. That's how we get there, is the 2.73 FIP. Relievers are so difficult to judge, and I understand Kasparius is a hybrid reliever starter at this point. So, ERA, kind of have to throw it out the window a little bit here. FIP is the number you really should be looking at relievers, and a 2.73 FIP. We're going to talk about this when we get to the NL Cy Young race. That's right in line with, the number 1 and number 2 in NL Cy Young. I understand he's not thrown nearly as many innings as those guys, but to do that over 50 innings in a hybrid starter role, in a reliever role, it's in high leverage, low leverage, eating bulk innings. See, he's really done it all for this Dodgers team. He might be the unsung hero of the team, if we're being honest here. So absolutely Kasparius should have at least a top 3 finish. But I think number 2 is a good spot for him. And at number 1, the clear best I don't want to say favorite. We know who the favorite is. I will talk about the favorite when we get to him. But the clear number 1 of the first half is Braves catcher Drake Baldwin. On the year, he's hitting .280 with 9 home runs, a .352 on base, .472 slugging, good for an .824 OPS and a .130 WRC+. Yeah, Drake Baldwin is so damn good, man. Which is really fortunate for Atlanta because, Sean Murphy was struggling, so they wanted, got to be careful with this name, Chadwick Tromp, not the other one. But, Tromp was really someone they were counting on, really didn't perform with them. Sean Murphy has been bad, let's be honest here, to start the year for Atlanta. So for Baldwin to come in and have the kind of year he's having, one of the very, very few bright spots for this Braves team this year, absolutely deserves this by far. He's my first half Rookie of the Year. But he's not who I would pick to win at the end. Because, yes, we need to address the big 6'7" Milwaukee elephant in the room here. It's going to be Jacob Misiorowski, right? He's the one I think is going to win at the end of the year. As I understand, the numbers are low. The sample size is very, very small. But Misiorowski is so dominant. He has, and I don't not say this lightly, the most unhittable fastball in baseball at the moment. The fact that he throws at 99.6 miles per hour with 7 feet of extension, what the fuck, man? That thing's coming at you at like 105, 106 perceived velocity here. I don't care if that thing is straight. I don't care if that thing doesn't move. I don't care if it doesn't even fucking spin. If you throw 105 or 102 with that kind of extension, yeah, hitters are going to be in trouble. So it was a fun time here, but Chase Burns, Jacob Misiorowski, those two are going to be probably 1-2 here for the NL Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately for me and my Ben Kasparius agenda here, those two are going to clearly run away with the award. But do not count out Drake Baldwin. I think he's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Now we get to the fun awards to talk about here. For the Cy Young and MVP, I'm going to talk about my top 5 here. And we, of course, start with the American League. And as much as I've been pushing the Joe Ryan agenda, and as much as I wanted to put him at number 5, the top 5 pitchers in the American League are very clear who they are. It's about what order you put them in. And at number 5, I went with Jacob deGrom here. deGrom is back, baby. And it is so much fun to watch. On the year, he's had 16 starts, throwing 95 and a third innings with a 2.08 ERA, good for a 181 ERA plus 0.88 whip, 94 strikeouts, good for 8.9 strikeouts per 9, 1.9 walks per 9, 0.8 home runs per 9, and a 3.03 FIP. Yeah, Jacob the GOAT is back, man. And there has been no signs, no twinges of injury concerns from deGrom. And that's really because he went from throwing like 98, 99 on average to bringing it back down to 97, 96. And that may not seem like a big deal, but really it's less stress on that elbow, less stress on that shoulder. He was putting otherworldly, inhuman numbers. 2021 Jacob deGrom, I threw a Cy Young vote for the company I write for because 2021 deGrom was that fucking good, man. And he only pitched, 12, 13 starts? But unfortunately, it took a toll on his body. So to be able to, ease up on the velocity, not throw as hard, but still put up these kind of numbers just shows you how good deGrom is. Unfortunately, everyone else in front of him, man, is better somehow. And that's a weird thing to say. Because at number 4, I got first-year Yankee Max Fried. On the year, he started 17 games, throwing 108 innings with a 1.92 ERA, good for a 2.13 ERA plus, a WHIP of .94, 104 strikeouts, good for 87 or 8.7 strikeouts per 9, 1.8 walks per 9, 0.6 home runs per 9, and a 2.75 FIP. Yeah, I was very high on Max Fried going to the Yankees. I'm not a big Jazz Chisholm guy at third, but even I can acknowledge he's a plus defender at third. Anthony Volpe, say what you want about him. He is a fantastic defender. Aside from Game 5 of the World Series, obligatory mention, he is a fantastic defender at shortstop. And then second base, you have a little bit of a hole there. But, you still have good infield defense all throughout, especially because Paul Goldschmidt, while not, the Gold Glove Goldschmidt we know and love or you guys know and love so much that I hate with a burning passion, but that's beside the point here, is still an elite defender. I thought putting him with that kind of infield defense, and on top of the fact that he does not give a lot of fly balls, let alone pulled fly balls, so you don't have to worry about the short porches at Yankee Stadium. I thought he was going to have a great year for the Yankees. I didn't think he was going to have this kind of year for the Yankees. Fried has stepped up and filled the Garrett Cole-sized hole in that rotation in a big, big, big way, man. So absolutely, Fried is worth every penny they've paid for him so far. And it's weird to say that, a guy with an ERA under 2 was not close to cracking the top 3 of my AL Cy Young because, the top 3 is very clearly defined. And again, it's just about what order you put them in. And at number 3, I got Hunter Brown of the Houston Astros. Houston Astros at number 3 here. He started 16 games on the year, thrown 98 innings with a league-leading 1.75 ERA, good for, again, a league-leading 2.31 ERA plus a whip of .88, 118 strikeouts, good for 10.8 strikeouts per nine, 2.6 walks per nine, .7 home runs per nine, and a 4.69 FIP. Yeah, who saw this coming from Hunter Brown, man? He has been absolutely electric here, pitching in, I don't want to say as difficult of a ballpark as it is to pitch in New York with the infamous Crawford boxes in left, but he is absolutely dominating everybody with that beautiful plus fastball of his. He's not been locating it the best. He does have the worst walks per nine of all the pitchers we're going to be talking about today here, but that's aside the point here. Is he has just been dominant through and through, really stepping up and filling the void for Houston in the worst possible way, because Valdez is not having a bad year per se, but he's not having, the year you want from Framber Valdez, especially because you chose him over Kyle Tucker. So for Brown to step up in this way is absolutely beautiful and worth watching. I don't want to say I love the man. He's an Astro. But, he's a good pitcher. He's a must-watch pitcher. And again, if he leads the AL and ERA by a country mile, quite frankly, that shows how good the top two are. And at number 2, you have my preseason Cy Young prediction here. You have Garrett Crochet. Yeah, he has been worth every bit of prospect capital the Red Sox have given up for him this far. Because on the year, he has started 17 games, thrown a league-leading 109 and a third innings. Yeah, I didn't expect him to, be the league leader in the American League, at least, in innings pitched. But here we are with a 2.06 ERA, good for a 2.02 ERA plus. That's called playing in Fenway, folks. With a 1.02 whip, 135 strikeouts, good for 11.1 strikeouts per nine, 2.6 walks per nine, .7 home runs per nine, and a 2.54 FIP. Yeah, is Garrett Crochet is what you want out of your ace in the modern league. Is he's going to give you 6 innings. He's going to strike out a lot of dudes. He's not going to walk that many. He's fastball. I said this all offseason. He has the best fastball of any starter in baseball. Unfortunately, Jacob Mizorowski exists now, so that's not necessarily true. But the big thing was, could he develop some off-speed pitches? And yeah, he's developed some off-speed pitches. That sweeper is deadly and plays so well off that fastball. Really has led to, I don't want to say an increase in strikeouts, but him sustaining what I thought was at the time an unsustainable strikeout rate based solely off the fact that the fastball was his only plus pitch. So for him to go to Boston, really learn how to throw some off-speed stuff, he has been a revelation for this team. One of the few bright spots on a weird-ass Red Sox season, let's be honest here. But he has been a revelation. Unfortunately, it's quite obvious who the AL Cy Young is. It's been obvious. I just have not seen it, for I am blind. It's been Tarik Skubal. I had him number 2 at my preseason rankings. I liked Skubal going into the year. I'm always a big believer of I got to see it again. If you watched the live show we did on Monday, and we were talking about, you can bullpen your way to your championship, and you got to do it 2 years in a row. Skubal has done it 2 years in a row, and because of that, I'm fully bought in. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. He's pitching like a prime Clayton Kershaw here. And if you look at the hat, I do not say that lightly. On the year, he started 17 games, thrown 109 innings, with a 2.15 ERA, good for a 1.84 ERA plus, a whip of .84, 138 strikeouts, good for a league-leading 11.4 strikeouts per nine, 1.2 walks per nine. Yeah, 1.2 walks per nine. This man is otherworldly. 0.7 home runs per nine and a league-leading 1.98 FIP. I mean, what can you say about Tarik Skubal? The fastball is electric. The slider is electric. The curveball is electric. His command is pinpoint. He is the friend that can perfectly thread the needle whenever you're sewing. He is the best command artist in baseball right now, and I don't think it's particularly close. Skubal has been a revelation. I was blind to it. I am no longer blind. And of course, if you want me to say who's going to win AL Cy Young at the end of the year, as great as the field is and as tight as the race is going to be, I think it's going to be Tarik Skubal. I don't see anyone, catching him in strikeouts, walks, home runs per nine, any of that. Yeah, Crochet is close on, strikeouts per nine. Brown and Fried give up less runs. But Skubal is the complete package while throwing basically a league leading innings. He's one out behind Garrett Crochet here. Very clear who it's going to be in the American League. In the National League, little bit of a harder time deciding who would be the top five. And at number 5, you could call it copium if you want, but I have to put Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yes, has he looked great in June? Not particularly. Is he dealing with a hip thing? Yes. Is it an excuse? Absolutely. But I would like to continue to push the Yamamoto agenda here because I have Yoshinobu Yamamoto at 5th. He started 16 games this year, throwing 89 and 2/3 innings with a 2.61 ERA, good for a 1.52 ERA plus, 1.05 WHIP, 101 strikeouts, good for 10.1 strikeouts per nine, 3.1 walks per nine, zero point 0.9 home runs per nine, and a 3.24 FIP. Yes, Yamamoto is not throwing the innings of a lot of the people we have talked about today. Yeah, the ERA is not the best and all that, but he's still got great strikeout stuff. He's really limiting the long ball as best he can. The walks per nine are up simply because since the hip injury in Cleveland, the command has been erratic. It's been off a little bit here, but the stuff still plays so damn well. Yeah, he's pitching in the 7th inning a lot more consistently for the Dodgers than he was at the beginning of the year. This is really a vote of, I saw what you did in the first half, so the first quarter of the season. I just want to reward you for that because after that, I'm like Mackenzie Gore. ERA is a little high. Home run rate's a little higher. If really close between those two, but I give the edge to Yamamoto for sure. At number 4, I got to start listening to y'all a little bit here because Tarik Skubal was the dark horse for the Cy Young last year. I didn't believe it. This year, everyone's like Spencer Schwellenbach is the dark horse. I didn't believe it. He's actually a Cy Young contender here. On 17 starts this year, he's thrown a league-leading 110 and 2/3 innings pitched with a 3.09 ERA, good for a 1.33 ERA plus, a WHIP of .97, 108 strikeouts, good for 8.8 strikeouts per nine, a league-leading 1.5 walks per nine, 1.1 home runs per nine, good for a 3.20 FIP. And yeah, it's really close between him and Yamamoto. Yamamoto's got a better ERA, but Schwellenbach's got a better FIP. You look at strikeouts, walks, and all that. But for me, what puts Schwellenbach, and I understand he has one more start than Yamamoto, but I don't think Yamamoto is throwing 21 innings in his next start, is the 21 innings that Schwellenbach has. I used to be a volume over efficiency guy, but then I'm a Dodger fan, and I see that the team prioritizes volume over efficiency over volume. And yeah, we've not been great in the postseason during the efficiency over volume era. So I'm now a volume over efficiency man. And just the pure volume that Schwellenbach's having, pinpoint command, not walking anybody. Home run ball's not necessarily the best. Strikeout stuff, you want it to be a little higher. But still, I think just, the walks in the innings pitch is good enough to have Schwellenbach comfortably inside my top 5 here. And meanwhile, the top 3, I think is very clear. It's very obvious. Just depends on the order you have them. And I know this is a hot take, but I got Zach Wheeler as my number 3. On the year, he started 16 games, thrown 99 innings with a 2.45 ERA, good for a 1.73 ERA plus, a WHIP of .92, 126 strikeouts, good for 11.5 strikeouts per nine, 2.3 walks per nine, 0.9 home runs per nine, and a 2.67 FIP. Going into the year, I said Zach Wheeler was the best pitcher in baseball if you look at my top 50 series. And that's mainly because, he's what you want out of a modern starter, and I've seen him do it since 2021, quite frankly, he will give you 200 innings. He will give you at least 10 strikeouts per nine. He's going to keep the ball in the yard with that tremendous fastball changeup combination he has. Yeah, absolutely, Zach Wheeler was the best pitcher in baseball going into the year. I don't necessarily believe that anymore just because of how good the NL Cy Young favorite is. I think you know who I'm talking about, but I will not say the name just to maintain some emblem of suspense here. And Skubal, they are clearly better than Wheeler, but Wheeler himself is still pretty damn good. I think it'd be a lot tighter of a race if he can just, get that innings pitched number up a little bit, get the ERA down a little bit. But he is fighting because this is one of, I believe, 2 or 3 more seasons he has because he is done after his current contract. This is one of his last chances to get that Cy Young here, and I think he would deserve it in a normal year. Unfortunately, these two pitchers have been on another plane of existence because at number 2, I have Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants, my hated so much. But unfortunately, I cannot deny that Logan Webb balls out, and he's been balling out this year. With 17 starts this year, he has thrown 106 or 107 in the third innings with a 2.52 ERA, good for a 152 ERA plus. That's called playing in Oracle Park, folks. A whip of 1.14, 120 strikeouts, good for 10.1 strikeouts per nine, 1.9 walks per nine, and half a home run per nine, good for the league-leading 2.52 FIP. And yeah, Logan Webb, I said it going into the year, is he needed to fix his changeup grip a little bit here. Is it deviated from where he was in his Cy Young caliber 2023, the really good 22 and 21 he had when he broke out onto the scene? And I said he needed to fix the pitch grip. Is the movement profile wasn't where it was. It's gotten a lot closer to where it was, and coincidentally, the run value is exactly where it was in those 2 seasons. And I don't want to say I'm vindicated, but I am a little vindicated here. He has been so damn good. You're not going to get elite strikeout stuff out of him, but getting 10.1 is very surprising. Is the whip is the only thing that's holding me back from putting him here. As of all the contenders, aside from Yamamoto, he's the only one with a whip over 1, and it's by a quite decent margin at that. If he can limit the hits, I think he is absolutely deserving of the Cy Young. It's just the one thing that holds him back too. And of course, the Oracle Park tax is, everyone says you got to take hitters who play in Colorado, their stats with a grain of salt. You also have to do that with Oracle Park stats, unfortunately. Is again, that 2.52 ERA is almost exactly what Zach Wheeler was throwing, but unfortunately, Zach Wheeler plays at the bandbox. I don't want to say bandbox, but a more hitter-friendly park in Citizens Bank Park. Logan Webb pitches in pitcher's paradise of Oracle. That's where the discrepancy lies. The numbers got to come down a lot more for him to be a serious contender, but he's got a lot of the peripheral stats that make him this close to competing with our number 1, who is, of course, Paul Skeens. Skeens on the year has started 17 games with 106 innings thrown of a 2.12 ERA, good for a 200 ERA plus a whip of .91. By the way, those 3 stats I mentioned before, he leads the NL in all 3 of them. 110 strikeouts, good for 9.3 strikeouts per nine, 2.5 walks per nine, a league-leading .5 home runs per nine, and a 2.50 FIP. He's Paul Skeens. What is there to say, man? He is electric. The splinter is great. The fastball does its job well enough. The slider is deadly. Everything about Skeens has just been exactly who we thought he was. And for him to come out and have this kind of season, Skeens is that damn good for sure. But is he who I think is going to win the Cy Young this year? Now, logic says yes, it should be Paul Skeens. However, there's a little curse in baseball not that many people know about. It's called the All-Star Starter curse. Whereas the players who start the All-Star game, very rarely do they go on to win Cy Young in the same season here. Now, Tarik Skubal, obviously going to be starting the All-Star game for the AL. Skeens, obviously going to be starting the All-Star game for the NL. And the last time that both All-Star starters won the Cy Young was 2001. It has been 24 years since it's happened. I'm not necessarily going to bet on it here because, again, it's a weirdly specific curse. So, give me Logan Webb. I think Logan Webb can bring down the whip and ERA a little bit. And when he does that, I think he has a better argument than Skeens on the periphery. And the stats that people actually, like Cy Young voters, actually look at. Once those stats come closer to Skeens, I think there's a good argument to make for Logan Webb being the Cy Young. And I think for the first time since 2010, the Cy Young will go back to the San Francisco Bay Area, and it will piss me off so much. Now, we get to the fun races here. AL MVP. Now, if you look at the betting odds, aside from the top 2, I am in wild disagreement here because the players you expected to be good in the AL are good, but they're not as good as you would expect them to be. At number 5, I'm not going to talk about him too much. I've talked about him ad nauseum, quite frankly. But I have Tarik Skubal. Again, I don't think a pitcher is ever going to win MVP again. Kershaw has closed that bridge. He might be the last one to ever do it. But Skubal, man, I said he's pitching like Prime Kershaw. A top 5 finish in MVP is basically Prime Kershaw-esque. Now at number 4, I have Jonathan Aranda of the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, Jonathan Aranda. On the year, he's hitting 352 with 10 home runs, a 406 on base, 496 slug, good for a 902 OPS and a 159 WRC plus, while putting up 0 outs above average at first. As Aranda is such a damn good hitter, man. Is you cannot overlook what he's done in the first half, and the fact that he is not an all-star finalist, it's Goldschmidt and Vlad Jr., I think is criminal, quite frankly. Aranda is the best hitting first baseman in the American League. I'm not going to say the National League because Alonso and Freeman exist, even though Freddie, my God, was awful. But that's aside from the point. Aranda is just so damn good with the bat that I don't think it really matters defense at first anyways. The bat speaks for itself, anchoring a lineup that has been surprisingly good and a surprising Rays team. Yeah, I think Jonathan Aranda should get a top 5 vote from me. At number 3, this one is surprising. I did not expect this at all. I don't think he can maintain it, but I've seen weirder. I got Jeremy Pena. As on the year, he's hitting 322 with 11 home runs, a 378 on base, 489 slugging, good for an 867 OPS, a 146 WRC plus, while putting up 5 outs above average at shortstop. Yeah, he's playing like, 2022 playoffs Pena. The home run in Seattle Pena. The ALCS and World Series MVP, Jeremy Pena. He's come out to play in a big, big way. I've never been a fan of Jeremy Pena's game necessarily, just simply because I don't like the free swinging guys who don't make a lot of contact. And yes, I know I said Jacob Wilson is a top 10 shortstop. Yes, I know I have him as Rookie of the Year, but it's different, okay? I promise. Because Jeremy Pena does have a lot of swing and miss in his game, and that's what really holds me back from him, and that's the difference between him and Wilson in my mind. But for Pena to have this kind of season, to really step up and fill that Jose Altuve-sized hole in the lineup, that Yordan Alvarez-sized hole in the lineup, I think really speaks volumes to the player he's been this year. Absolutely, he deserves a top 3 finish in the AL MVP. Now, what I alluded to in the intro. Yeah. I know there's been people who've been making the argument that this player should be the AL MVP just because they play a premium defensive position and they play it well. But the defensive numbers have not been, the platinum glove level. And the fact that I left this player off my top 50 list is honestly the biggest travesty of my offseason coverage, especially because I looked at defensive catchers. I'm like, defensive catcher that I don't like their game a little much because they're a little 3 true outcome heavy. I'm not going to put him on the list. I'm going to put Patrick Bailey on that list. The stats, the underlying metrics on Baseball Savant, they speak to me. Because, yes, I put Patrick Bailey at 50, and I left our number 2, the man, the myth, the ass himself, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, off my top 50 players list. And he is this close to being AL MVP. There is a lot of egg on this face here. Because on the year, Cal Raleigh's hitting 275 with 32 home runs, a 388 on base, a 643 slugging, good for a 1031 OPS, good, and a 137 WRC plus with 2 fielding runs at catcher. He leads the American League in home runs. He has been absolutely phenomenal for Seattle. He's the only reason they are in contention, quite frankly. And yes, I realize the internet has started nitpicking Cal Raleigh the same way they nitpick Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge can't do it in high leverage. Cal Raleigh only hits 370-foot home runs. Do they clear the fence? Then shut the fuck up, okay? The one thing that's holding me back from having Raleigh as AL MVP is the defense is just not platinum glove defense. If he was putting up platinum glove defense, absolutely he's AL MVP. But, he is a very good defender. The pop time is just a teensy bit slower, and just because of that, the caught stealing rate has fallen. If he can just get it up, get those thousandths of a second back, I think he can win it. But unfortunately, there is one man who is also playing Gold Glove caliber defense while having one of the best hitting seasons of all time. But we have said that in 2022, in 2024. I think we just have to say he's one of the best hitters of all time at this point because it's Aaron Judge himself, man. All rise, because on the year he's hitting 356 with a 300 with 30 home runs, a 458 on base, 722 slugging, good for an 1180 OPS and a 121 WRC plus. By the way, he moved to right field again. Turns out he's still a really good right fielder because he's got 5 outs above average and no drop balls and stites. And I promise you this, last Game 5 reference I will make in this show today. Yeah, Aaron Judge has been that good. If he was putting up like the defensive numbers he did in 2024, yeah, we can have this conversation about Judge or Raleigh. But the fact that, Aaron Judge is playing Gold Glove caliber defense in right field, while again having one of the best hitting seasons of all time, say it with me, guys. He is the MVP. But he doesn't hit in high leverage situations. Who the fuck cares, man? If you're hitting 30 home runs, it's 30 home runs. I don't care if they're all off Kike Hernandez while you're losing 18-2. If you hit 30, you hit 30. Just let it die at this point, people. Now, NL MVP is really dominated by 2 teams and a guy who got the Barry Bonds treatment. Yeah, it's a weird year in the National League. Because at number 5, I got the fresh prince of Chavez Ravine himself, Will Smith. He's hitting 318 on the year with 10 home runs, a 413 on base, 532 slugging, good for a 945 OPS, a 163 WRC plus. Yes, does he have -6 fielding runs at catcher because he is the worst framer in the league? Perhaps. Does it matter because his offense has been so good? It does not. Because Will Smith is like one of the few I don't want to say few bright spots, but he's one of the few consistent hitters on this team. Is everyone else has been ebbing and flowing in some ways. But Will Smith, like McDonald's in China, has always been there for you when you need him the most. And it's really refreshing to see, especially because they manage his playing time a lot better. Thank you, Dalton Rushing. I'm not 100% sold yet because second half Will Smith is a thing. But at least for now, he's a top 5 finisher in the NL race for sure. He might be the first catcher since Buster Posey to win the batting title as a catcher, which, by the way, phenomenal that he might do that. Let's go, Will. But, to be in conversations with Buster Posey is still phenomenal. Don't get me wrong here. So let's give Will Smith his flowers here. At number 4, yeah, I compared this man to Barry Bonds because he got intentionally walked 3 times in one game. How does that happen? I do not know. But that really just goes to show how good James Wood is as a hitter, man. On the year, he's hitting 283 with 22 home runs, a 386 on base, 522 slugging, good for a 938 OPS and a 156 WRC plus while putting up 1 out above average in left field. Yeah. Guys, you know how the joke goes. Can we have Juan Soto? We have Juan Soto at home. Juan Soto at home is usually never the same. Turns out the Juan Soto at home is actually pretty damn good himself because James Wood has been phenomenal. He has more than made up for the lost value in the Juan Soto trade. And they also got Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams on top of that too. If only they could fill out the rest of that lineup, man, this Nationals team would be so damn good. But that's aside from the point. James Wood is just, I think, this might be sacrilegious to say considering, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani exist. I think he might have the best raw power of anybody in the game. His exit velos are off the charts. For the longest time, he could only hit opposite field home runs, which is way more difficult to do. And then, of course, his first visit to San Diego, he's like, no, fuck you, I'm going to pull the ball. And then hits an absolute tank because of that. He is so damn good, man. Once he learns how to pull the ball, it's over for everybody. Because, yeah, he's that good of a hitter. Vote him into the All-Star game, people. As much as I love Andy Pages and Teoscar Hernandez, neither of them deserve to be starting because James Wood is number 4 in All-Star or in my NL MVP voting. And 3 and 2, unfortunately, also happen to be outfielders. And unfortunately, they both happen to be on the Chicago Cubs. It's just which Cubs outfielder do I have 3 and which do I have 2? Well, at number 3, you know him. You love him. He has no aura, but he does not care. He will simply show up, do his job. He's the type of guy that you want dating your daughter. Lunch pail kind of man. Gritty, hardworking. Did I miss any other white people in sports stereotypes? I don't think so. Because it's Kyle Tucker. Yep. He has been a revelation for Chicago this year. He is going to get $500 million because the year he's having is a fantastic year. Out in the year, he's hitting .291 with 17 home runs, a .395 on base, a .430 slugging, good for a .932 OPS. He's also stolen 20 bases on the year. Yeah, he's that close to a 2020 season already. He's got a 157 WRC plus with 2 outs above average in the outfield. Yeah, Kyle Tucker has been worth everything the Cubs have given up for him. He has finally made this lineup deadly. He is the perfect missing piece for the Chicago team. And the fact that he's not the best outfielder on his own damn team says a lot. But he does this every single year. It's just we finally started paying attention. Kyle Tucker, man, is that damn good. Yeah. Meanwhile, the mom from Little Big League, turns out her son can really play baseball. And he might be the most shocking player on the year because nobody, not even the most optimistic Cubs fan, mind you, had Pete Crow Armstrong being as good as he is. But here we are. PCA has been phenomenal. On the year, he's hitting .262 with 21 home runs. Yes, does he have an on-base percentage under 300? Yes, but it's only by 1 point because it's a .299 on base, .537 slugging, good for a .836 OPS and a .129 WRC plus. So where's the value come from? He's also stolen 25 bases while putting up an incredible, I want to say, a Denzel Clark-esque 12 outs above average in center field, man. Pete Crow Armstrong is that damn good. Yes, should he walk more? I don't care, man. He was the fastest to 2020 ever. He was faster to 2020 than Ohtani last year. Am I saying Pete Crow Armstrong is going 50-50? Absolutely not. But he could go 40-40 while maybe putting up 20 outs above average in center field for what arguably might be the greatest center field season of all time if he does that. Unfortunately, there's one man who exists. A man who transcends words, who transcends everything, and has started pitching again. And because of that, it has to be Shohei Ohtani. It will always be Shohei Ohtani once he pitches. Because, yeah, offensively, he's still very fucking good, man. On the year, he's hitting .287 with 29 home runs, a .388 on base, .663 slugging, good for a .1021 OPS, .174 WRC plus. Yeah, he's only stolen 11 bases. I say only, that's a easy thing to do. But yeah, he's stolen less bases because he's returning to pitching. He's ramped up. He's not had a full official start yet, but still. He has pitched 3 games for the Dodgers. He's thrown 4 innings with a 2.25 ERA, good for a 1.92 ERA plus. Grain of salt those numbers a little bit here. A whip of 1, 3 strikeouts, good for 6.8 strikeouts per 9, 2.3 walks per 9. Hasn't allowed a home run in those innings, and a 2.34 FIP. Again, the numbers don't really tell the story. Is the fastball is phenomenal. The sweeper and splitter, he's starting to get a little bit more command and control over it, and he's looking unbeatable, quite frankly. He just threw the hardest pitch of his career in his last start against Kansas City. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, I don't care that's 4 innings. He's thrown 4 quality innings for the Dodgers while being the best hitter in the National League. That makes him the MVP, which is really sad to see because Pete Crow Armstrong coming out of nowhere to win the MVP with one of the greatest center field seasons of all time would be a fantastic story. But unfortunately, Shohei Ohtani exists, and it's going to be a fun season for sure now that he is starting to pitch again. But let me know in the comments down below, how delusional was my AL MVP rankings? Is Pete Crow Armstrong actually the NL MVP? And you can laugh at me for my NL Rookie of the Year take because, yeah, it was awful in the preseason. Just do all that in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the content, and as always, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the Run the Play Network, and don't forget on the way out, play ball.